On November 9th, the world received two images that no one was ready for. The James Webb Telescope and the Virtual Telescope Project released the latest photographs of the interstellar object known as 3I Atlas. And what they revealed has left scientists speechless. In these images, the object appeared as a compact, brilliant point of light without the faintest trace of a tail, no sign of outgassing, no cloud of dust or gas, nothing that should accompany an object losing billions of tons of material near the sun. But here's the most unsettling part. It looks exactly the same as it did back in July when the Hubble Space Telescope last photographed it. For an object that should have already lost more than 5 billion tons of mass due to solar heating, its unchanged appearance is a cosmic insult to every known law of cometary physics. To some, it's a simple anomaly. To others, it's something far greater. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb calls it a wake-up call from the cosmos. Because if these images are what they appear to be, a body accelerating through the solar system without ejecting anything, then 3I Atlas may not be a comet at all. It may be something built. It all began when astronomers noticed something strange in late October. As 3 Atlas approached its closest point to the Sun, its perihelion, the object began to accelerate, not slow down. This is impossible. According to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Atlas deviated from its predicted orbit by 4 arcseconds, a small angle that at a distance of 203 million km equals a shift of tens of thousands of kilometers. Something enormous was pushing it off course. The calculations stunned mission analysts. The object was accelerating outward, away from the Sun, at 0.22 ms2 while simultaneously drifting sideways at nearly the same rate. In a single month, that's a displacement of over 80 km, far too large to be the result of random fluctuations. The question spread through every observatory from Hawaii to Chile. What invisible hand was steering this object? The usual explanation, outgassing, didn't work. To achieve that kind of thrust, Atlas would have had to vent at least 1/6 of its total mass, equivalent to 5 billion tons of vaporized gas, forming a blinding halo visible even through small backyard telescopes. But the sky remained empty. There was no cloud, no tail, no vapor, nothing. To understand how absurd this is, the Virtual Telescope Project released a side-by-side comparison between 3I Atlas and Comet Lemon, a completely ordinary comet photographed under identical conditions just days earlier. Lemon behaved as expected, a radiant, ghostly tail streaming away from the Sun, perfectly shaped by solar radiation. But Atlas, it was still just a dot, sharp, compact, unblemished. It was like comparing a living organism to a statue, one radiating motion and energy, the other frozen and silent. For Atlas to accelerate without producing debris is like watching a rocket fly without exhaust. The physics don't just fail, they collapse. When Loeb ran the calculations, he found that if the acceleration were truly cometary, the outflowing gases would have created a glow brighter than the full moon. And yet the images from November 5th show nothing of the kind. The object's magnitude, its color, and its symmetry all remain eerily constant. The Virtual Telescope's director, Gianluca Massi, called it the most baffling observation I've ever made, because even the instruments designed to detect faint traces of dust returned the same reading. 0. When the data reached Harvard, Loeb and his team began reconstructing the physics behind the acceleration. Using Atlas's estimated mass of 33 billion tons, nearly 1,000,000 times heavier than Oumuamua, they concluded that no known natural process could account for the force acting on it. Solar radiation pressure was too weak, outgassing was invisible, gravitational interactions with planets were impossible at that distance. That left one option, an unknown mechanism. We have to accept what the data is showing us, Loeb said. If the physics fails, the theory must adapt. but few were ready to adapt to the implications. The truth was too heavy, because the numbers didn't just describe motion, they described intention. The acceleration was not random. It was smooth, consistent, perfectly aligned with the sun's position, as if someone or something had calibrated it. The last time we saw behavior even remotely similar was with Oumuamua. But this time, the effect was stronger, faster, and far more deliberate. As data poured in from telescopes around the world, a pattern began to emerge. 3 Atlas wasn't breaking just one rule, it was breaking all of them. Its orbit was almost perfectly aligned with the ecliptic plane, within 5 degrees of the path followed by Earth and the other planets. A coincidence so improbable that Loeb called it the equivalent of hitting a cosmic bull's in total darkness. Then came the jet anomaly, a burst of material that shot directly toward the sun, the opposite of what any comet does. Normally, solar radiation pushes dust away from the sun, forming tails that always point outward. But Atlas defied even that, as though repelling sunlight itself. Its speed was another impossibility, faster than smaller, lighter bodies like Oumuamua and Borisov, even though its mass should make it sluggish. And its brightness curve defied logic. As it neared the sun, it brightened at a rate of 7, twice the intensity of any known comet. Then came the color blue. Not icy white, not fiery red, but an electric spectral blue, hotter than the sun's own photosphere. Its surface temperature seemed to exceed 5,800 Kelvin, a feat no natural object can achieve without vaporizing. By now, astronomers weren't just confused, they were alarmed. Because if 3 Atlas isn't following the rules of celestial mechanics, then it's following something else. Perhaps a command. Spectroscopic scans from James Webb and ground-based observatories revealed something even stranger. The object's composition. Unlike natural comets, which have random mixtures of rock, ice, and minerals, Atlas displayed a precise ratio of nickel to iron, the same ratio found in engineered high-temperature alloys used in spacecraft and jet engines. In nature, metals blend chaotically, but Atlas's metals were balanced, refined, and organized. It also contained only 4% water, making it drier than the driest deserts on Earth. Not the dirty snowball we expect, but a structure that looks forged, not frozen. Some scientists now suspect that the outer shell may not be natural at all. It could be a ceramic or composite layer, heat-resistant and polished, explaining why it reflects light so cleanly without showing cracks or irregularities. That reflection produces an unprecedented polarization signature, light waves aligned with mathematical precision, something that has never been seen in a natural body. As Loeb said, if you were to design a probe to survive a billion-year journey across the galaxy, it would look exactly like this. And then came the revelation that stunned even the skeptics. When researchers plotted the trajectory of 3I Atlas, they noticed that its path intersected the orbits of Mars, Venus, and Jupiter, but not Earth. Its timing was perfect. During perihelion, when it should have been closest to Earth and easiest to observe, it instead positioned itself behind the sun, hidden from our instruments. This alignment is so statistically improbable that some astrophysicists now believe it cannot be coincidence. This isn't random, one JPL analyst said. It's deliberate navigation. The idea sounds insane, until you see the math. The orbit is so precise that if plotted backward, it points directly toward the same region of the sky from which the WOW signal of 1977 originated, a narrowband radio burst SETI has been chasing for decades. 2 phenomena decades apart from the same cosmic coordinates. Coincidence? Maybe. But as the data mounted, maybe began to sound a lot like denial. Every new image released by the Virtual Telescope project only deepened the mystery. 3I Atlas's color, the deep ultraviolet blue that no comet should emit, defied every thermal model. Blue light means temperature. Blue light means energy. And yet the object showed no signs of decay, no fragmentation, no heat signature in the infrared. It was glowing with light that wasn't heat at all, light that seemed self-generated, like radiation from plasma or ionized gases under control. Some plasma physicists have proposed that the object could be using electromagnetic propulsion, generating thrust by manipulating solar wind itself. Technology humans have only tested at experimental levels. Others believe it could be something simpler, the remnant of a machine so ancient and autonomous that it continues to operate on instinct long after its makers are gone. If true, then we may not just be observing alien technology. We may be witnessing alien persistence, a mechanism still running its mission after eons in silence. And so the countdown begins. On December 19, 2025, 3I Atlas will make its closest approach to Earth, passing at a distance of 167 million miles, near enough for every major telescope from Hubble to Webb to capture it in unprecedented detail. If it's a comet, we will finally see the massive gas cloud that physics demands. But if no such cloud appears, if Atlas remains the same silent, blue, perfectly compact body it has always been, then the entire cometary explanation collapses. Subscribe to this channel because we'll keep following 3 Atlas until its light fades beyond our reach. Turn on notifications. The moment new data drops, you'll know first. And tell us in the comments. What do you think 3 Atlas really is? A rock, a probe, or the first message from a civilization that learned how to speak in silence?